the Tom Brady roast that went off the rails. You and I haven't talked about that. I do radio throughout the week, little spots here and there, and the one thing that keeps coming up, the question that I can't get away from, now that I've kind of regained my equilibrium post-colonoscopy, they ask me, and I really don't know the answer to this, why would he do it? Why did he do it? What's his motivation for doing it? Now, the easy one is money because he's one of the executive producers, and he's the first executive producer. So, you get one check to be in something. You get the bigger check when you're the EP. So he's the EP of this thing, and I think they want to turn it into a series. I don't know where they go from here. I don't know who else they convince that would fall into Tom Brady, GOAT, greatest roast of all time. Like, somebody thought, oh, this is kind of funny, greatest roast of all time. Oh, that's kind of cute. That could be a thing. Who else is you? Well, who's going to do it? Is Tiger Woods going to do it? No. I mean, Tiger
that
Woods
would be an interesting
7
one.
hours. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, two things. One, money, and two, I think Brady's in a race with Peyton Manning to see who can compile the greatest wealth to actually buy an NFL team, not a piece of an NFL team like Brady's trying to do with the Raiders, but actually buy controlling interest in an NFL team. I think Manning versus Brady playing out behind the scenes, and I think Manning's probably ahead because Omaha Productions, I have a feeling, is printing money. I have a feeling Manning's going to get there before Brady. Brady's going to kind of be there, but not really with the Raiders. Manning, I think, at some point is going to be able to show up with the bag of cash to buy an NFL team.
Well, Manning has a pretty good head start on that, right? I mean, he retired after 2015, so Brady didn't retire until 2022, maybe. Right? The way he keeps talking, who knows? Maybe somebody wants to give him that bag of money to come out of the Fox booth and play for their team in 2024. We don't know. He seems to be leaving that door open. We know you love talking about that. So who knows? But I mean, when you have that kind of head start, like Manning should be doing those kinds of things before Tom Brady. But if Brady wants to make it a rivalry, then heck yeah, I'm all in on that. Let's go. Let's have more Manning versus Brady. I'm in on that. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, and I just feel like as much as Brady tries and seems to want it, I feel like Brady's efforts to make money away from the field, and let me be as diplomatic as I can.
Oh, boy.
What? I'm saying I'm going to be as diplomatic as I can. I'm not saying that everything Brady touches turns to shit. I'm not saying that. But it feels like everything he touches turns to caca. It does. Bitcoin, FTX, get out of here with that. WTF with the FTX. That was a disaster. That was an embarrassment for Brady. That's something that should take a long time to come back from. But he's been able to just kind of, that's like a chapter of his life that never happened. But TB12 was circling the drain when No Bull came in and did a merger, which, going forward, it's not called TB12, it's called No Bull. The Brady brand was not something that was lifting off like the Jordan brand. Like, Brady's got these grandiose ideas that I'm not sure are going to come to fruition. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning is building and developing Omaha Productions into a juggernaut. So even with the head start, I have a feeling Brady's just going to kind of be bouncing around and never really settle into a groove. He's never going to find anything that he's as good at as he was as good at football. Manning, on the other hand, is one of those very rare individuals. And I mentioned this earlier in the week, praising him because he was the only non-comedian at the roast that was able to either write or deliver the material. He's the only one that had any business doing it. I was very clear about that. But Manning is one of those rare people who anything he does, it's going to work. Anything he touches is going to turn to gold, not the other thing that I said. So I think over time we're going to see the separation. That Brady's just going to be trapped in this weird Peter Pan complex where he thinks he can just flit around and do whatever he wants to do and everything's going to be fine, and it's not. Meanwhile, Manning's just going to be putting in the work and compiling the cash, and he's going to show up one day as the controlling owner of an NFL team. And I hope I live long enough to see that happen because I think it's inevitable.
Why wouldn't Brady put in the work, though? I mean, like Brady is the sixth-round pick that turned into one of the greatest of all time. And, I mean, like, why do we...
He doesn't have the ability. I don't think he has the ability. We'll see when he gets into the Fox booth. I don't think he's got the ability. He's got the ability to throw a football. I don't think it's transferable for him as it is for Manning. That's just my opinion. I think Manning can do anything he wants and do it well. Brady can put in the work and work really hard, and he can try so very hard, but I just don't think he's going to be able to match the business acumen. Yeah, look at the roast the other night. Brady's jokes, and I know he didn't write them, but I'd like to think he'd have enough sense to say this one isn't funny. He had a couple that just felt like high school amateur hour. They did. And I'm sorry if it offends people, because I know that in the media we're required to say how great it was all week, because God forbid we offend the sensibilities of Tom Brady. But his bit at the end was, in comparison to Manning's, I mean, his was a 1 and Manning's was a 10. Okay, I'll give him a 2.
Wow. Whoa.
But
whoa.
It just was. I'm sorry. It was.
The discrepancy. I don't know.
I mean,
I just remember
it was like he was reading from a page at a high school presentation. That's what it felt like when Brady was doing it. With Manning, it felt very natural.
Goodness. Well, I mean, again, Manning has.
Oh, are you going to do? Wait, are you going to? Hang on. Are you going to do the thing where you disagree with me on the air and then off the air you're going to say I was absolutely right? Are you going to do that again?
Frankly, no, because and maybe I shouldn't even disclose this. I haven't watched the roast. I have no interest in it. Okay. So I don't know. All right. I wasn't going to do that. But what I was going to say is I remember when Tom Brady went on SNL, and in his monologue, he just goes, that I mentioned money falls from my ass. Like, that's the image I still have of Tom Brady. And I think that it still will be with Tom Brady, no matter what he tries to do. And I think he might be better than you expect at being a commentator on Fox in the Fox.
Well, you're right, because I expect nothing.
Exactly. So I think that he's going to be pretty good at that. So, we'll see if he is. We'll see if he's not. But I do think he'll be pretty good.
I think back to Joe Montana and Bill Walsh, who were both among the greatest of all time at what they do. And they were both disasters, because it's all I, me, we, I, me, my, I did this, we did that. Nobody cares about that. That's the first thing Tom Brady's got to realize. Nobody cares. When you're calling a game, nobody cares about anything you ever accomplished on the football field. We don't want to hear the stories about what you did and how you did it. And, he's got this streak of get off my lawn, grumpy old man, these guys suck. That's what he said back in December of 2020, I believe, maybe 21. Oh. One of the reasons he didn't want to retire is he doesn't want to turn on a game and say, these guys suck. I'm still better than them. Well, guess what, Tom? You're going to be watching it every week because you're still better than half the league, and you're going to have to talk about these guys. And when one of them gets injured, Kevin Burkhardt's going to turn to you and say, hey, Tom, you going to go play for this team? Because you've already said you'd be willing to. I wouldn't be opposed to coming out of retirement to play for a team that loses its starter. So I'm trying to be real about this. I'm trying to be real. That there's an element of fugazi to Brady that isn't there with Manning. And I think as Brady gets older, the fugazi is going to become more and more clear. Just my opinion. And I apologize for articulating it freely. I guess you're only allowed to say these things when it's a roast. You're not allowed to say the truth about Tom Brady and what you think about his acumen beyond football elsewhere. But I'm going to say it. I don't think his skills are going to be transferable the way that Peyton Manning's are. Boom, roasted.
Okay, yes, yeah. They should have put you on there, that Netflix special, Mike. You would have been pretty good at that, yeah. No. Brady.
I have the self-awareness to know I have no business. I have no business acting like a comedian and trying to deliver those jokes. That's not my lane. So I'm not going to go up there like Gronk. I mean, Gronk on script is a disaster. Gronk off script, holy hell. Gronk was horrible. And
I'm not surprised by that.
Gronk is like like a 2-year-old at his birthday party where it's all about him and he's just having a good time and he doesn't care how anybody reacts to what he says or does. And it's kind of like, can we just get this thing over with and go home? So, yeah, Gronk needs somebody to tell him, you're not nearly as funny as you think you are. And I thought Belichick's bit, and you haven't seen it, so you can't relate to it. And some of you who are listening or watching, if you're still listening or watching, well, you said you didn't watch it. It's hard to avoid all of it.
It's like Seinfeld. Have I watched Seinfeld? No.
True.
Do I feel like I've seen Seinfeld in some ways?
Point.
Yes. So there we go.
There was a great spot there, and I'm going to not get this right, but Belichick said that one of the sayings when he was coaching the Patriots was, do your job. And what he'd like to now say to Gronk, who's on TV at Fox, please don't do your job. And that captures the sentiment. The best jokes have a huge kernel of truth at the bottom. And the truth is, Gronk ain't suited for what he's doing. Big, dumb fraternity dude, that only carries you so far. There's a shelf life on that. And he's already passed the shelf life. The bread has mold on it for Gronk, but they're going to keep throwing him money, and he's going to keep being Gronk. I'm telling you, it's going to get old. It's going to get old quick. I'm sorry. Listen. I had to face down my mortality in the form of a tube with a camera on the end of it that went all the way up my body, around and back down. So I'm going to say whatever I want today.
Oh,
and
yeah.
basically
Congratulations.
forever. Not that it's ever stopped me before. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.